Hello everybody and welcome to Church with Jess. That's me. Episode 23. It's Wednesday, August 26th, I think. Episode 23 of Church. We are back to the Crystal Allies cards, which I love so much. I don't know, this might be my favorite deck. I love it. It's so good. There's so many different spreads that you can do, just so much insight and clarity that you can gain. The companion book is written by Naisha Asian, so that's what I'll be reading from and interpreting from. So, I wanted to start with a quote that kind of goes along with the questions I had for this week. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you really are. Carl Jung. So my question was, how do we drop the facade, remove the costume that society asks us to wear, and reveal our truest, most authentic selves? Why are we afraid to be authentic? How do we let go of fear and realize that it doesn't have to fuel us if we don't allow it to? So that's what I kind of had in mind as I was meditating and then thinking about what I was going to talk about today. And then just a few minutes ago, as I was looking up different quotes, I saw that Carl Jung quote, and I was like, oh, that's perfect for this week's lesson. So yeah, again, I'm bringing up authenticity and how so many people are afraid of just being who they truly are, or showing who they truly are, and instead try to be like everybody else, like everyone in their group, like the image that society creates of what you're supposed to be. So this is all about, really to reach your soul's purpose. Like, you really have to live your most authentic life and be your most authentic self, so that you're not denying any aspects of who you are and who you're meant to be. So we're going to explore that a little bit in this reading. I did a Trinity spread, which is a 3-card spread. Let's see, my road opener candle, I think the last episode I had been going for 24 hours. Now I think I kind of lost track, but I think it's been about 4 days. I don't know if it'll make it 7. It's getting pretty low, but they do burn for a really long time, even when even when they're at the bottom. So anywho, let me tell you about the Trinity spread that I did today. So it's 3 cards. I actually don't have them laid out correctly right now. So this is actually the way that they go, with that being the first card, physical, the second card, mental, and the third card, spiritual. So those are just like the 3 aspects of the question. So it says the Trinity spread is modeled on the 3 primary levels of being: body, mind, and spirit. Each of these levels should be considered when exploring an issue or situation, as they each will have an impact on your overall experience and learning. The spread gives each of these aspects a voice with which to guide you. So I just felt like that spread kind of resonated with my thoughts and questions that I had for this week. Because I think it's definitely something that's personal for every single one of us, and something that the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of it need to be explored. So we're going to start with the first card, which represents the physical the physical aspect, the body of the question you're exploring. This card indicates the action called for and suggests the idea or concept that can guide your actions in the appropriate direction for the highest good of all concerned. Consider the actions that have led you to this point and the choice of actions that you now have available to you. You know, how have you grown? Now hold the key word for this ally in your mind as you review them. Your crystal ally will give you clear direction as to which action is most appropriate to take at this time. So for the physical aspect, the body, we got rhodonite, which represents abilities, and we actually had it reversed. So reverse cards mean that, at least in this deck, mean that we need to just focus more energy on what the card is telling us. So rhodonite, I don't know if I have, but I can show you. I can show you what rhodonite, it's kind of like a pinkish black. It's a rhodonite crystal. I don't know, this could be it. This could be rhodonite. Maybe. Not sure. So, okay, so yes, that is reversed. Okay. So rhodonite, the meaning is, or it represents abilities, and the chakras that it's represented by are the sacral, the svadhisthana, and the solar plexus, the manipura. The affirmation that you can say when thinking of the image, if you're meditating on these, either now or later, if you're playing it back. I own my abilities and use them for the highest good. Tell you a little bit about the card, about the image. The initiate sits in front of the temple steps, practicing her skills and honing her abilities. Though the task is difficult and does not bring fame or glamour, she knows that the real rewards of this work will be the perfection of her abilities and a greater capacity to serve all of her community. So yeah, you know, it's not about what everyone else thinks of you or whether you're getting rewarded for what you're doing. You know, self-work is for you and you alone, and you will feel rewarded after going through the process. And it's a constant process. It's never ending. We always should be working on ourselves and getting to our truest, most authentic selves. So, you know, just don't give up, do the work, and you will find great reward in that, in the work itself. Rhodonite operates on a deep physical level to aid in the regeneration of tissue and promote healing. It is a tonic for the liver and pancreas and is helpful in stomach complaints that are related to stress. Rhodonite is an ally whose vibration promotes the emotions of self-love and self-acceptance. It encourages you to accept your worth and abilities, enabling you to contribute more fully to the community. Self-love and self-acceptance. You know, I think when we try to mask who we really are, it's because we haven't discovered self-love or how to accept ourselves for who we are. You know, and be able to face who we really are, and if we're not happy with that, to do the work that needs to be done to, you know, make those changes within, because nobody can do that for you. Nobody can force your hand. You can allow that to happen, for your hand to be forced, but at the end of the day, you know, if you don't have the desire and the drive to do the work, then you're not going to get anything out of it. You were born into this lifetime with a store of talents and skills that you have been given to use on your path of service. Using your abilities and expertise, you can make a contribution to the betterment of the whole. When you share these skills with an open heart, you're fulfilling the role that you chose when you agreed to incarnate into the physical realm. You know, when your soul decided that it was going to inhabit a body as a vessel to get through this physical realm, to learn all the lessons that it needed to learn. That's what that's talking about. Rhodonite represents the development and improvement of these skills and abilities through education and practice. You can attend 100 different workshops and acquire as many certifications and various skills. But if you never actually practice what you've learned, you're not contributing. You know, practice what you preach. Sorry, my incense are very smoky in here and it's making me choke. I turned the fans on to try and alleviate a little bit, but it's pretty smoky. Anyways, though, speaking on practice what you preach, something that I jotted down, that I happened to jot down before I started reading any of this, was walk your talk. You know, and that essentially is the same thing. And I think it's like an underlying theme of these cards. And we actually have 3. I don't know if you noticed when I showed you, when I flipped the camera around, but we have 3 fire element cards. So this is the first time we've had just one element throughout the whole reading. And it's so interesting when I was doing, after I got the first fire element card, I was like, had a feeling they were all going to be fire element cards for some reason. So at the end, I'm gonna read a little bit about the fire element. But for now, let's get back to the first card, the body, the spirit, or the physical aspect. Believing that you have nothing at all to offer to the world is a rejection of your divine nature and an abdication of your path of service. And I think when you try so much to be like other people around you, or to be like other people instead of just being who you are, I think that is kind of like telling yourself that you just don't think that the real you is like worth anything or like has anything to offer. And that's not true. All of us has a gift to offer to the world, or a skill, or whatever. No matter at which level you begin, you can always either develop or acquire a useful ability or skill through education and practice. No matter how poor you may feel in abilities, there's always something you can contribute to others to help and support them. We're meant to live in a community, with each member sharing their particular gifts or acquired skills with the whole to ensure a balanced and healthy society. And I think that's like a big problem right now with all the stuff that's going on in the world, is that we basically have been taught or told to fear each other, which is something that's dividing us even further. You know, we're told that each and every one of us is diseased, and if we get near somebody else, we're going to give them that disease to them, you know, which isn't really the truth. So it's kind of frustrating, and it's creating this divide when we're supposed to be a community of people and, you know, helping each other and all doing our part, you know, to make the wheel spin. For example, you know, everyone has a role in society. Or just in the world, in the great, you know, we all are here for an individual purpose, but I think there's also like a bigger picture as well, and we all play our part and play our role, you know. So to divide us just seems counterintuitive to that, you know. It just seems it's suspicious, you know. So I think it's so important to be united and to work together. I really do. And that's love too. You know, when we create divide, we ended up creating hatred, and you start accusing people of things, and, you know, that might not necessarily be true. All right, moving on. This cannot happen. This was talking about a balanced and healthy society. This cannot happen without the active participation of each person. In the coming time of changes on this planet, which they're not coming, they're here. Well, I guess they're still coming, but we're going through it right now. It's more necessary than ever to follow your heart and your talents. You know, a lot of us are learning that we have to, we kind of have to change what we've been doing, whatever, like our career or job might have been, you know, our profession. Like we've got to look at other things, at other talents and skills, and figure out, you know, where we go from here in this new world. We're each being called to express our individual gifts so that we can share with joy the tasks that we have incarnated to perform. Each of us has unique gifts that will help us to realize the creation of a new world. Rhodonite is calling you to discover your gift and to share it with those who will most benefit from your talents. You know, and this new world needs to be better than the old one. And I think it will be if we work together. So the message of Rhodonite in a reading is you are being asked to own your skills and talents and to utilize them in ways that strengthen your personal power, community, and tribe. Because everything is connected, right? Like the blanket. Surely you've watched I Heart Huckabees by now. When you are coming from your center and feeling self-worth, you can fulfill your potential. You know, like the saying that you can't really truly love until you love yourself. You know, it really is true. And I think when you start to do that work and you start to love yourself and accept yourself little by little, you really understand what that statement is saying. It's so important to learn to love yourself first so that you can project that onto the world. Now is not the time for false modesty. If you receive a compliment or praise for your talents or skill, rejoice in the gift that you've been given and your ability to share your gifts with others. You know, be proud of yourself. If somebody compliments you on your gift, you know, and what you're sharing with the world. Like, I think a lot of us feel like awkward to accept praise, you know, and we'll immediately try to find something that we can praise this person about. And it doesn't have to be about that. Like, you can just say thank you, you know. You don't have to, you know, feel like you owe that person something for praising something that you did. And you shouldn't feel guilty for being praised. You have a gift, and, you know, that's, you know, your people are receiving it and responding to it, you know. You may be called to undertake some course of learning or development of your skills at this time. When Rhodonite appears, it may be calling you to step up your skill by learning a new way or cultivating abilities through applied practice. You know, you might still be able to do what you're doing, but just find like a different path that you're meant to go down, you know, doing that thing. You may be drawn to a course, book, or workshop that can teach you a new way to use your skills. By cultivating them, you'll feel more confident and be more prepared to contribute to the greater good. The greater good, always. I will always, anytime anybody says anything about the greater good, I will forever think of Grindelwald. If you have felt as though you have nothing to offer, are not good enough at your chosen ability, or are lacking confidence, then you are now being called upon to practice. Practice makes perfect, you know. We have to hone our skills. You know, I'm a chef. I didn't just go to school and say like, okay, I'm a chef now. Like, I had to put in the time and do the work, and put the theory into practice, you know, for many, many years, and, you know, to be able to be called that. So practice your skill. Practice makes perfect, and it also allows you to contribute immediately to your community. No one is perfect before they begin, but you have to begin. That's the first step, right? Let's start at the very beginning. That's a very good place to start. Sound of Music. Be willing to look a little foolish so that you can develop mastery down the road. You know, don't be so worried about what people think of you. Really, like, what people think of you, it doesn't matter. You know, what do you think of yourself and who you are? And are you being true to yourself and your soul and your journey? And are you being as authentic as possible, you know, with the group of people that you hang around? Do they know the real you? And if you don't feel comfortable sharing the real with them, ask yourself why. And maybe you need to surround yourself with a different group of people. You know, or learn to be with yourself and accept and love yourself so that you can project who you really are onto the world. Because who you really are is beautiful. If you've already attained the level of a master with your particular skills, it may be time to begin something entirely new, where you can develop a new skill set and cultivate an additional method of serving others. You know, I said last week the Einstein quote, like, when we stop learning, we're dead. You know, we're always learning, and just because you've mastered one thing doesn't mean that it's not possible for you to learn something else. Put heart back into your work by approaching it in a way that allows for more creativity. Break out of habit and add a new skill to the toolbox you share to use, or the toolbox you use to share your service with the world. You know, honoring our natural abilities is just one step of being authentic, you know. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Like, just, you have your abilities for a reason, and you're meant to share them with the world, so embrace it and just I just want everyone who is watching this week to practice being more authentic. You know, all of us can benefit from that, myself included. You know, we live in a society where we have stuff fed to us all day long, literally all day long, from the time that we're born, what we're supposed to be and what's acceptable by other people in society. Like, what is acceptable to how you can be and how you can act and what you can look like, and who makes these rules. Like, I don't know, but you shouldn't have to conform to what somebody else wants you to be. Just be, you know. You're here for a reason, and you'll eventually discover what that is, you know, but you're gonna get there by being authentic and being real and being open to receive and surrounding yourself with people who better serve you. So the next card, the second card in the Trinity spread, is representing the mental, the mind. The card in this position represents the mind aspect, the level of thought and conscious conception. The ally appearing in this position is revealing the key lesson behind the situation. It can also indicate the thoughts which will be most productive for you and which would aid you in creating the most positive experience of the situation. So this is saying this is like the key lesson of the situation of people living in fear and not being authentic and just conforming to what society tells them that they need to be. So the card in position 2, the mental aspect, is intention, golden topaz, intention. I hope you can see the image. It's a bit dark, but intention, topaz, another fire element card. Like I said, all 3 of them are fire element cards today, which is very interesting. Okay. I'm going to show you some golden topaz. It's sort of, like, it kind of looks like citrine a little bit, but not quite. So there's golden topaz. No, I'm not sure if it comes through well on here. But, okay, so a little bit about the initiation, or intention, sorry, intention card. Representing intention, which I just said, the chakras are, again, the sacral and solar plexus, Svadhisthana and Manipura. The affirmation that you can say with this card, for those that are meditating or reflecting on the reading: I intend to manifest in right alignment with all that is. So the image of the card: a magician directs the energies of nature through, A magician directs the energies of nature through the medium of their intention to effect change and to manifest their will. This is the power of intention, that we all have the capacity to engage. Through your intention, you can take infinite possibility and distill it into a very finite and specific outcome. Intention focuses energy and directs it, allowing manifestation of that energy into form and outcome. And we've talked about intention before, and doing things with intention and living a life of intention. And when you do that, you manifest the things that you want. And in order to manifest things that you want, you have to constantly have them in your mind's eye, and constantly have your focus on it, you know, and do the work and do the effort and do the work on yourself, most importantly. But you have that power within you to create. Every single one of us has the power to create the reality that we want to live in. The mind is a very, very powerful tool. Golden topaz, also called imperial topaz, is a dazzling golden stone. A dazzling golden stone of high energy and power. When you enter into resonance with this stone, like if it resonates with you, if its energy resonates with yours, your sacral and solar plexus chakras become crystal clear and transparent. These are the centers of motivation, passion, and will. And it's important for your chakras to be balanced, you know, for them all to be in balance. You can, if one is imbalanced, it might appear larger or very small. If you've ever done like aura photography or anything like that, you can see your chakras, and if you have any imbalances. So anyways, it's saying this stone, golden topaz, can help with, can help you with issues, with imbalances with the sacral and solar plexus. I lost my place. Here we go. Golden topaz, also called imperial topaz, is a dazzling golden stone of high energy and power. When you enter into resonance with this stone, your sacral and solar plexus chakras become crystal clear and transparent. These are the centers of motivation, passion, and the will. Golden topaz's energies enable one to perceive and understand the motivations, desires, and needs of oneself and others. Knowing your own motivations and desires means that you can make clearer choices and have stronger intention. Knowing the motivations of others can allow you to help them more efficiently or avoid them more quickly. You know, be the change that you want to see in the world. By being that change, it circles back to walking your talk and practicing what you preach. The power of intention is an application of the will toward creating a particular situation, experience, or outcome. When you're clear about what you choose as the result of your intentions, you're able to manifest more quickly and more precisely. By using your intent correctly, you strengthen it, just like using a muscle. You know, once you learn how to process things in that way and to use your mind in that way, it'll become second nature to you. But if you use your power of intention improperly or without discipline, by saying one thing and doing another, for instance, you'll damage your ability to manifest with clarity. You know, when you don't believe in yourself, or you don't say what you mean, or do what you say, or walk your talk, or practice what you preach, it's like you don't really believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, then other people stop believing in you too, you know. Golden topaz also teaches us about creating and maintaining healthy boundaries. Boundaries are a form of intention. Through communicating healthy boundaries to others, you inform them of what you wish to experience in your reality. By honoring the healthy boundaries of others, you're assisting them in experience the reality that they want to experience. Boundaries are like the banks of a river that inform the water about where it is to go. The banks of the stream, boundaries, can even affect how quickly the water moves and how much energy it carries. Without the banks to limit and guide the water, it would not have direction or force. Without boundaries, it's tough to direct energy into specific forms and outcomes. And, you know, it's so important to have boundaries with yourself and with other people. You know, you determine what is crossing the line for you. Nobody else can tell you that. That's personal to how you feel. You know, people can be mean, and people might say, oh, you're too sensitive, or they don't think they're doing something wrong, but it's up to you to set a clear boundary, and it's also up to you to honor it. Because if you tell somebody that you have boundaries and then you don't honor them, then you're basically giving them permission to cross those boundaries, because you're not walking your talk. So it's important to set up boundaries. And it's also important for you to respect other people's boundaries, you know, just as you would hope they would respect your own. Golden topaz aids those whose intentions or boundaries have become obscured. It assists them in clearing away the energy debris that can occur when there is a lack of clarity about what you want or intend. It helps to energize you to make clear choices and to commit your energy to that choice so that you can use the power of intention to manifest your life more efficiently. And I think when we're not being authentic, you know, we confuse the universe, because the universe knows who we are. And, you know, the things that you're asking for might not be aligned with your truest, most authentic self, and those things then aren't meant for you. So that's why it's so important to get to that place where we can learn how to be authentic with ourselves and not so worried about just being like everybody else. You're not a robot, you know, you have free will. So the message of the stone appearing in our reading, golden topaz, you're being asked to make committed choices now and send a clear signal to the universe about your intended outcome. You know, and that's kind of just what I was saying. Like, are the things you're asking for aligned with who you really are, or is it aligned with who you define yourself as in a group? You know, so you need to really sit down and look at that and be clear about what your true intentions are. Your thoughts, words, and actions must all be aligned with what you say you want, and you cannot vacillate or doubt yourself of the choice you have made. Now is the time to end procrastination and to commit your energy, body, mind, and spirit to the path you wish to take. You know, and I think that all just circles back to being authentic and learning who you truly are within yourself, not within a group. You know, the community is amazing and we need it, and I think we need it to thrive, but we also have to know who we are individually in order to be able to help our community thrive. Golden topaz may be asking you to take a look at how you've been using your intention and whether a realignment is in order. Have you been saying one thing and doing another? Have you been holding back or on committing your energy out of fear of committing it to the wrong thing? There's that word fear. Have you pretended to hold the same intention as others to make them happy or to avoid conflict? I think most of us have probably done that at some point in our lives. It's time to come out of the closet with your intentions and to unequivocally set your boundaries. Clearly demonstrate to yourself, others, and the universe what it is you want, what you will no longer accept. Like Absalom says in Alice in Wonderland, who are you? Who are you? Ask yourself that. Who are you at your core? By owning your role as co-creator of your life, and co-creator means that, you know, while there is a purpose for your soul, there's many paths that you can take, and you have the choice and the free will to choose whichever path you see fit for yourself. So by owning your role as co-creator of your life, dispensing with any victim mentality and throwing your energy in the direction of your dreams, you will recapture the power of your conscious intention and become a magician of manifestation. You know, you'll be able to manifest all your desires and receive blessings upon blessings that are meant to come your way. You know, the victim mentality is constantly, everything's happening to you. You know, but life doesn't happen to us. Like, we have to live our lives and make things happen and manifest things to get to our truest self and our truest purpose, which is the goal for every single soul incarnating on the earth in the physical realm, is to reach its intended purpose. So when you hide within a group and you try to become the same as everybody else, you're not really truly fulfilling that. You're just you're wearing a costume, you know, and it's, you know, that's the question and thought I had, is like, how do we remove that costume, you know, and not be afraid to take it off and show our true authentic selves. So the third and final card in the Trinity is the spiritual aspect, which says the ally in this position is bringing direction, messages, and guidance from your higher self and other beneficial guides who may be supporting you. This card indicates what your guides most want you to know or understand about your question or situation. It may indicate an action, an attitude, or an outcome, but it always indicates what you're meant to focus your heart and mind upon to bring about the highest possible outcome. So this card, the spiritual card, is, you know, what our guides, our spirit guides, most want us to know. We're meant to focus our heart and mind upon this to bring us the highest possible outcome. The spiritual aspect. So we have spontaneity, being spontaneous. You know, being spontaneous is an amazing thing because we can't plan every little thing. My dad has a song that he wrote called Help Somebody If You Can, and he says in it, one of the lines is, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You know, because it's like, you can plan everything to a T, but life is going to happen, and just because you planned it all the way you want it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way to go. We have to be willing to be flexible and open to change, because those things happen. To me, I see everything as a sign. You know, there's no coincidence. Again, I could bring up I Heart Huckabees like a million times and relate it to every single topic in any of these readings. But, you know, I don't believe that there's any coincidences. Things happen for a reason. So if something happens that's not part of your plan, like, your job is to listen and be open to receive what your spirit guides are directing you towards. So, you know, try to live a little more spontaneously, and you'll discover amazing things about yourself, which this is all about. So, spontaneity, again, sacral and solar plexus. So that says, you know, these are all fire element cards. They're all the stones that, which I guess most fire element are probably sacral and solar plexus, but it says that maybe in the world, you know, in the general population, that those chakras are off balance, the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra, which are sacral and solar plexus above and below your belly button. So, you know, we gotta do the work to help balance those, and so all the chakras are balanced in a straight line. So the affirmation, if you're meditating on these for calcite, spontaneity: I trust myself to act upon my divinely inspired gut instinct. Remember, this is the spiritual aspect, and this is what your spirit guides want you to know in your instincts and intuitions. Trust that divine intervention. You know, when you're feeling those things, when you're having intuitions, that's like a divine intervention saying, hey, like, pay attention to this. So, you know, and often we don't, and I think, you know, it's just so important to pay attention to those signs. So in the image, there's two golden beings. Two golden beings celebrate the joy of life by dancing around a calcite crystal standing stone. Flowers surround and cover them, indicating fertility and joy. Sorry, I didn't, this is, I'm pretty sure this is some yellow calcite. But let me show you in here also, because I don't know, that might not be. But there's some yellow calcite. Calcite's energies speak to our deepest being of the beauty of spontaneity. We often think of spontaneity as doing things on a whim or the spur of the moment. That is one type of spontaneous action. Another kind of spontaneous action, though, is generated by alignment with divine guidance. When you align with spirit through meditation or prayer, and then act in faith or trust upon the impulses that arise out of that connection, you can manifest miracles in your life. This is inspired action and often leads to synchronicities that can propel you forward on your path. So that's what I was just talking about, coincidences. Things can seem like synchronicities, like coincidence. But if you're open and connected to the divine source, and you're listening to what that source is telling you and what your spirit guides are telling you, those are your instincts. You know, you might suddenly get a feeling about something and you don't know what it means. Well, that is divine intervention happening. It's your spirit guides. Either maybe they're warning you about something, or maybe they're trying to lead you or direct you down a certain path. So it's so important to listen to that, and that's what we're talking about, you know, in the spirit card, the spirituality or the spiritual aspect of the spread, which is what this card represents. We all say that we trust the divine. We often don't trust ourselves. You may have a difficult time acting spontaneously from divinely inspired urges because you question or doubt whether the impulse is coming from the divine or a lesser source. And if you consider yourself to be a lesser source, just remind yourself that you are divine. I am God. Yeah. I am God, which is in the book that I just read, Stranger in a Strange Land, Robert A. Heinlein. I couldn't remember the title for a second, but you are divine. You are a divine source. You are of divinity. So trust yourself and trust those instincts that you have. This uncertainty prevents you from impulsively taking action on inner guidance. You know, sometimes we get those intuitions, like I said, and we do nothing. And that can mean that you may miss opportunities the divine is throwing in your way at the moment. Calcites of all colors and varieties help us to trust our kinesthetic intuition, also known as gut instinct, and to act upon it in faith and with surety. So again, when you have those instincts, to act on them in faith, and just be sure of yourself and know that those aren't coming out of nowhere. There's a reason for everything. The most powerful prayers are those that arise from the moment and are backed by our emotions of thanksgiving. It's true, like when you just say things, when you pray or you meditate and you're asking the universe for something, or being grateful, having gratitude for something, it's best when it truly comes from the heart. And sometimes the most heartfelt things just come in a spontaneous moment, and you're just feeling it and you're in it. The most powerful prayers are those that arise from the moment and are backed by our emotions of thanksgiving. Spontaneous acts are acts of beauty when they occur from a place of love and gratitude within us and are inspired by our divine connection. Each act of spontaneity that we perform is an affirmation of our ability to co-create. When you were a child, your creative force ran strong. You would draw a picture from love to share with your parents, sing a song from your heart, or pick a bundle of wildflowers to offer to the nature spirits. Your sense of trust, adventure, and creativity had not yet been bound by the monotony of routine, conforming, or self-doubt. And where does that come from? Society, and what society tells you you have to do and who you have to be. And we become complacent, and we become machines. We become robots, When you resonate with calcite as your ally, you're calling that sacred child to come forward once again to sing, create, and celebrate the beauty of life by acting in the moment with faith and trust. I'm definitely a live in the moment kind of person. You have to find balance though, because that's something that I struggle with and something I'm seeking and I'm trying to create within myself. I am a very spontaneous person, but I do need to try and create a little more structure and planning in my life as well. So you should always balance yourself out and never be too far on one side of the scale. Calcite is calling you to connect to the divine in meditation or prayer, then to feel for the impulse within your solar plexus that tells you what spontaneous action or direction to take. It's like your gut, your solar plexus. Meditate, pray, whatever it is for you. Prayer, to me, prayer and meditation are go hand in hand. They're really the same thing. And it's something that everyone should do, even if it's literally just for 5 minutes, even if it's for 1 minute, like any time you can to just meditate and reflect, is very beneficial to you. Sometimes it's important to follow a plan or to stick to the known path. But if you're feeling the need for magic and synchronicity to come into play, it's time to deviate from the plan and allow your divinely inspired gut instinct to inspire you to spontaneous action. So just always be open to receive and listen, eyes and ears open all the time, third eye open and accepting all the time. Calcite is also encouraging you to trust yourself and your inner promptings, because they're divine, you're divine. Put aside self-doubt and fear. What you're being asked to do may not make logical sense, but if you have connected with spirit and feel an impulse to move in a particular direction, it's important for you to trust yourself and take the leap. Don't ask why you're meant to do something. Simply do it and believe that the divine is taking care of you, or is taking you on a new adventure. Taking care of you too, but taking you on a new adventure, or even a shortcut to your carefully planned outcome. You know, and when you do that, when you listen to your gut and your intuition, do you still feel afraid? Ask yourself that. You know, when you listen to yourself and to the divine that is coming into you as you connect more with the divine spirit, you know, and you trust the divine and you trust in that, shouldn't you trust yourself too? Something to think about. So, okay, so since we got all fire, I think that was like really summed up, you know, the thoughts that I was having on just authenticity and fear, and just getting to be our most authentic selves with intention, our abilities, and spontaneity. So I just wanted to read some on the fire element itself, because this is just kind of a little ritual, which you can do if you choose to or not. It's totally up to you. But since we got all fire cards, I thought it would be important for this reading. I thought it would be like a good little extra credit, if you will, I guess. Let me feed my incense a little. Frankincense. Actually, frankincense and myrrh. Okay, so this is a little ritual. 1, place. Hold on a second. So there's a whole thing that you can do with all of the elements, actually. It's experimenting the elements, but I'm just going to do the fire element right now. So place a lit candle in front of you where you can easily reach it. Focus once again on the energy of the roots that extend downward from your feet, and imagine them going even deeper into the earth, down through the bedrock of the planet to the molten mantle that exists just beneath the solid crust of the planet. Now open your eyes slightly, just until you can see the light of the flame. Hold your hands near the flame until you can feel its heat and energy, but not so close as to be uncomfortable. Once again, sense roots extending from your hands to the center of the flame. When you have connected with the energy of the flame and the fire at the center of the earth, send love energy from your heart center out through your root system to the fire element ally. Give your thanks for the gifts that fire gives you every day, the warmth of the sun and the heat that keeps you comfortable and allows you to cook your food, the fire of electricity that lights your home, and the fire of passion and creativity that burns within you. Fire governs your creativity, sexual passion, ability to take action, your ability to set clear boundaries with others, and the right use of power. Feel how the energy of fire affects these aspects of your life. When you have given your energy and gratitude to fire, ask that it allow you to access its energy so that you can learn and serve all beings. When you receive a positive response, begin to draw its energy in through your root system, allowing it to enter and fill your abdomen, extending out to fill your body and energy field with its light. Sense the energy of fire burning through any blockage you may have. Sense it burning through the solar plexus and the sacral chakras. Transform them into pure energy. Allow the energy of fire to fill and surround you, experiencing its effects upon your energy systems and physical body. When you fully experienced the energy of fire, send the light of your own heart out through your hands and feet with gratitude, integrating the energy of fire into your body and energy field, and offering gratitude. Set the candle aside, releasing any residual energies of fire. So that's a ritual you can do if you'd like, and if you feel like that's something that resonates with you. So I'm just going to leave you with a quote again. This one, I think, really goes along with the reading, with the questions and thoughts that I had. Nothing binds you except your thoughts. Nothing limits you except your fear. And nothing controls you except your beliefs. Marianne Williamson. You know, don't allow yourself to be bound by your thoughts, your fears, and your beliefs, you know, because when you do that, you're not open to learn new things, you know. We all have like a system of beliefs that we're kind of, most of us taught from birth. And I think that you just need to be open to receive new ways, because how can you really say who's right and who's wrong? You know, just listen to others. And in doing that, you'll learn more about yourself. So until next week, I love you all. Thank you for listening. Namaste.